Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. It is Tuesday, May 30th. In the news today, or probably from yesterday, Moscow was the subject of a large drone attack. Like a dozen drones were flown into Moscow, and reportedly some were shot down, some blew up, and they were targeting where the explosions happened were in wealthier Russian districts, civilian districts. Russia's blaming Ukraine. Ukraine saying they didn't do it. That it could be a third-party state or third-party actor that's doing that. That's not under state control. But again, Bo with Fifth Column. I do watch him a lot, and I do recommend him to you. His he was talking about it a little bit this morning, and his speculation was that this doesn't look good for Russia. Either their air defenses are lousy enough that a dozen drones could get through them and penetrate all the way to Moscow, or if they're going to blame Ukraine, that Ukraine has like special operations near Moscow that they could fly drones in there. Neither one of those, as he described it, would give you the warm fuzzies that everything is safe and secure in Russia. So I'm going to try and find out what was the meaning behind the drone attack. What was the goal of those who launched the drones into Moscow? Okay, for entertainment purposes only. Let's see what the cards have to say. Well, Chariot comes up. We'll come up with, we'll do two signifiers since this one popped out. So first thing that pops out is the Chariot. This is just kind of the driving a point home. I know this is maybe a natural progression of the war. It's a natural progression of things, but it's definitely something that's driving a point home. It's the leader that drives the chariot. So it could be something that's driving a point home to Putin. We'll also throw in the Queen of Swords. It's kind of the, you play with fire, you're going to get burned type of mindset. What did you expect? Basically, what did you expect was going to happen? You keep launching drones. You can already see the bottom card is the Ten of Cups. You keep launching drones and attacking Kyiv. We're attacking back. Now, does that mean Ukraine's behind it? It doesn't, but that's just kind of that mindset. It could also be, again, if it's partisans, they're tired of what Russia's done, and now it's payback time. Putin is kind of ruthless, so they're being ruthless back. And I want you to note, I don't know if they were specifically targeting the wealthy districts. That's just where they hit. But if they were, it's a target against oligarchs. It's a target against Putin and the elites. And that's who's running this war. So if you want them to stop it, you have to start making it inconvenient for them. Make sense? What's going to cross it there is Putin. I'm only laughing like that because I was just wondering, okay, now if it was Putin, what card would I have represent? It's like the King of Coins is going to come up here somewhere, and it did. Okay, so targeting Putin, targeting the elites. That's basically, this was a message. This was a message to them, basically saying, yeah, you're not scot-free on this one. We're coming after you. We're coming after the well-being that you have. This is a message that's attacking. You've had the good life, and that good life, we're coming for your good life. What did you expect? You've been living high on the hog, and the rest of us haven't been, so we're going to make it inconvenient for you. In the past, there's been a lot of sanctions against the Russian people. They've been suffering with it. We don't hear about it much in the news. I've changed news sources since CNN's decided to move a little bit further away from the truth. Nothing wrong with being to the right, but moving away from the truth, oh, good Lord. Okay, their online stuff doesn't appear to be bad yet, and I do poke it around every once in a while for headlines, but I'm on Reuters now. And I've often advocated for Reuters, AP News, the BBC, NPR. These are all very center, maybe center-left, but generally speaking, center, factually based reporting news groups. And if you do a search on Google for all sides or news bias, you'll see that these are the highest ranked for least bias, most honest, factual reporting. So make sure you include, like part of your balanced daily news diet, include one of these places with it. Again, Reuters, AP News, NPR, BBC. Include one of those in your daily consumptions. All right, back now that the Surgeon General has given you your news diet advice. Let's go back to this. Russian people are being, they've been suffering sanctions. They've been suffering with this. We're just coming out of winter. The people in Ukraine have had their infrastructure attacked. A lot of people are suffering so that some wealthy people can carve up Ukrainian territories amongst each other. And I think they're tired of it. They're tired of the suffering. So I would not be surprised for a minute that this was a partisan group, because they're tired of it. And they're finally taking action in their own hands, and they're seeing the rot in their government. And I thought this card might come up too, because I was thinking, okay, if King of Cups come up, am I going to say it's Joe Biden? I'm not going to say it's Joe Biden, though. But I'm going to say that the current situation is the King of Cups. I'm going to guess, I'm going to go on a limb here. King of Cups is Zelensky. He seems to really care about his country. He's got this emotional maturity. He has suffered through the pressures of Donald Trump with the do me a favor of Hunter Biden investigation. I think Zelensky is the current situation here. Zelensky didn't denounce the attacks. They said they're watching with interest. There might be... It wouldn't surprise me if Ukraine is supplying these guys. I don't know if it's a Ukrainian operation, but certainly I would say at the very minimum, Ukraine's helping supply. And it could very well be a Ukrainian operation too. But Zelensky is the current situation. I think he's evaluating his situation. Probably this impacts their spring, almost summer now, assault. Because Moscow's now having to pull back anti-aircraft batteries back to Moscow. And if you think about that, they're either pulling it from other locations, making them weaker, like on the China border or something along those lines, or they're pulling them from the front line to protect Moscow, which is going to help the Ukrainians have better air support during any spring/summer offensive, because those resources have been pulled back. Not to mention the incursions on the border, which is now going to take troops away from the front line potentially. So you're weakening the Russians without even having fired a shot at the troops or their equipment. Overarching energy is the hangman. I don't think it's the willing sacrifice. I mean, you could say they sacrificed a bunch of drones to get Russian attention, but now Russia can't just focus on the front line. They've got to focus on their frontier towns. They've got to focus on the Kremlin. They can't just focus the point of the spear on in Crimea or on the various frontline battlegrounds. They have to pull back a little bit, and again, that makes them less effective on those. And I do wonder if the Wagner groups are going to show up in here. Victory. I think this is the lesson to be learned, that Ukraine, if this represents Zelensky, and this represents Russia having to pull back and reevaluate things, this is a victory for Ukraine. By launching drones, by taking frontier towns, they're saying, hey, look at us. You better look at your towns. You better look at your capital, because they're not safe. And as Russians pull back to protect these, that's a victory for Ukraine, because it weakens the Russian resources that are at the front lines that they have to overcome when they launch their offensive. What's the outcome? Well, I hadn't expected that one to come up. Okay, so the outcome is your deal with the devil. I think by doing this, you're going to provoke Russia even more. I mean, Russia's been launching kamikaze drone attacks. They've been launching cruise missiles at Kyiv. Expect that there's going to be more of the same, because this is just... This is slapping the bully. Not even giving him a black eye. This is just literally slapping him across the face and infuriating him. And they're going to come at you with everything they got. Come at me, bro, because you're humiliating them. And you're doing it really, really well. So, yeah, expect more of the same coming from Russia in retaliation to this. But it's kind of we're going to do this, and we're going to see what happens. And, it's going to be, poking the hornet's nest. But, I think that's going to... But they know what they're doing. They know the consequences of doing this. But you know what this provides? This provides a moral victory. When your guys have been suffering and you launch an attack against Putin, and just basically it's going to keep coming, and what did you expect, buddy? That's going to help the morale of the Ukrainian people. Absolutely. Okay, so what's Russia's response going to be to this? What's going to be the Russian response to this drone attack? I mean, I think I pretty much know what it's going to be because, call me crazy, but if you do the same thing over and over again, you don't expect a different result. And when they've done this, Russia retaliates big time. But if Russia is admitting that they're pulling back air defenses, they could just be saying that to appease the population there. But it also seems to indicate that they're not lying when they say Ukraine's behind this, because their air defense must be Swiss cheese right now if a dozen drones can get through. So what's Russia going to do? What's Russia going to do about this? What's going to be their response? There we go again. Okay, well, we got the right card. I did contemplate holding that card out and throwing three qualifiers on it, qualifying cards on it, but 1 in 72 chance, right? Or 100% chance, depending on your outlook on if tarot is just random. I'm the random dude reading random cards on the internet, or you believe in it. Okay, so thank you, Spirit, by the way. I appreciate that. What's Russia going to do? Well, they're going to have an emotional response, but they're going to keep a lid on their response. I think they're just going to be cold-blooded killers in this one. Or maybe not. Maybe they might take time to... Oh, you know what? This is kind of pulling back. This is rethinking their strategy. Let me pull the last card in Judgment. Interesting. Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Okay. First off, 3 major arcana on a 5-card deck. Okay, so Russia's made their deal with the devil, and they're going to retaliate. But I think it's not going to be... Either it's not going to be right away, or they're going to re-strategize a little bit. This could be the pulling. This card could represent the pulling back of some troops, the pulling back of some equipment and material to protect the Kremlin, to protect Moscow. Underneath, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So Moscow and Putin and his regime, they're in the middle of their destiny. This is gonna happen. Stuff like this is gonna happen. It's not over yet because you're not at the world card. This is just almost like the next phase. Yeah, that's it. That's what this is showing. Russia is now having to look at this. Oh crap! This is the next phase of the war. It's not a one-off incident. They've done it a couple of times. So now they need to rethink their strategy. They can't just be the point of the sword on the front lines. They're going to have to pull some stuff back to protect what they've got, because they need to keep the people calm. If the people get all uppity and start rioting and rising up, that's the end. It's game over. They will overthrow the government. Why? Because there's judgment. People will be tired of this. They're going to judge Putin on this one. And what are you doing to protect us? You said that this war was going to be over in a week, and here we are, a year plus into it. I was about to say 10 months. It's more than that. And there's going to be judgment. This could also be the oligarchs waking up. This could be other partisans waking up and becoming more emboldened because of successful attacks on Russia, and they're going to want to put a cap on those. So yeah, Russia's going to have to pull back. They're going to have to rethink what's going on with their strategy and understand that they're in a new phase of the war. That they can't just dictate what's going to happen, do their invasion and be done with it. Ukraine is punching back. Actually, they're slapping back right now. The punch is coming soon. All right, so that's my view and my thoughts and my interpretation of the cards with regards to this Ukrainian drone strike in Moscow. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do. I really appreciate it. Blasted through 1,000 subscribers last week and over 1,100 subscribers now, and really looking forward to doing more videos and sharing my insights with you. Hopefully, giving you some additional information on these situations. I don't know if it'll calm you down, but I hope it calms you down, or at least look at things in a different light. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.